Deployment of Russian forces in Venezuela has caused controversy amid the political crisis in the South American nation. Opposition leader Juan Guaido criticized the move as unconstitutional, saying that the National Assembly alone has the legal power to authorize foreign military missions in the country. The U.S. also accuses Russia of aggravating political tensions in Venezuela. Russia on Saturday sent 2 planes reportedly carrying 100 troops and tons of military equipment to Venezuela. Moscow says the deployment has been in strict accordance with Venezuela's constitution and regulated by a 2001 military cooperation agreement between the two nations. Meanwhile, Caracas has once again accused Washington of seeking a coup in the Latin American country.
This is a coup attempt that is led by the United States. No, it's not a matter of Juan Guaido or Henry Ramos Alup, some leaders of the opposition here. This is Trump, it's Pence, Pompeo, Bolton, and they are in charge here. So it's their and they have to do it. And so that is what's really happened. They are not interested at all in the Venezuelan people, if the Venezuelan people are suffering or are not suffering, if Maduro is good or bad. They want the Venezuelan oil. They have decided that Maduro should be ousted, and they are trying to make it happen.
Arias said the U.S. has been continuously threatening Venezuela with military action in total disregard of diplomacy. He also called the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump racist and supremacist.
This is
And joining us now for this news review is Mario Stasny, political commentator out of San Juan, and Mr. Isaac Higio, political commentator from London. Hello, gentlemen. Thank you both for joining us here on Press TV's News Review. I'm going to start there in San Juan with you, Lajos. Mike Pompeo, U.S. Secretary of State, said that the U.S. will not stand by idly as Russia exacerbates tensions in Venezuela. A lot of people are saying, hey, look, Washington, it's you that have been doing just that for the last few years or so, especially it's escalated with this current administration. Your thoughts, please.
Well, yes, I would say that the current crisis has been exacerbated by the intervention of the United States as a leader of a group of, I would say, allies and satellites, including Colombia, Brazil, Peru, Chile, Argentina, European countries such as France, Germany, the United Kingdom, Canada, and they are in fact intervening in the internal affairs of Venezuela, which has been suffering for many years an internal political crisis, and in great measure such crisis has become internationalized thanks to, well, the opposition that they haven't been able to change the government in the executive power, and the United States that hates this government, which I would say that is of leftist, not communist. My opinion is communist, for other people who disagree with me in that regard. That is of Nicolas Maduro, and well, they don't like it. Washington doesn't like it, so so they want to change the government that they are using. Well, this latest initiative of not recognizing Nicolas Maduro as president and recognizing instead Guaido, but probably there have been already interventions such as probably a cyber attack against the Guri River Dam hydroelectric power station, and sending emails to senior members of the Venezuelan military through cyber warfare, through signals intelligence, in order information warfare, in order to try to make them change their minds and turn against the government of Nicolas Maduro. So already there has been a blatant intervention of the United States in the crisis, whether one likes it or not. There is that intervention. And the Russians, well, what they say is that they are just fulfilling a contract of military technical cooperation that has been agreed beforehand. So it's not that suddenly they are just arriving to the rescue, but it's part of an agreement long before reached.
And if I could swing over to you now, Mr. Isaac Villa, just on Monday, after those, less than 2 days after those planes landed in Caracas, the U.S. accused Russia of aggravating political tensions in Venezuela. And it's really funny for Washington to say that, considering that they've been aiding and abetting, Saudi Arabia in what it's doing in Yemen, and they invaded Iraq on false, pretext, and led to the death of over 1 million Iraqi civilians. And then Russia right now saying, look, we're actually not internally, getting ourselves involved with the political situation here. We're just on the defensive, trying to keep the democratically elected government in place and not letting you try to dictate a puppet regime in this country like you try to do elsewhere in the world. Your thoughts, please.
Well, first of all, you mentioned before that Guaidó said that he doesn't not authorize the Russians to come to Venezuela and he's the real president. This is really the main issue here. This is a guy that has never been elected by the people, has never competed with any other candidate to be the speaker of his own party, the speaker of the parliament, and then the president of the country. The constitution, the Venezuelan constitution, only allow for an interim president 30 days. In that time, they have to organize elections. Already, there is 2.5 months since he claimed to be president, and he has not called for elections, not even in the Catalan way, which is challenging the authorities. He doesn't have a cabinet, he doesn't have ministers, and instead of ministers, he has ambassadors. And these ambassadors, what they want to do is to take money from the Venezuelan oil companies or to do some contracts. So he doesn't have any single power inside the country. And he said the only person that can authorize other armies to enter in Venezuela, it's me. No, and he wants the United States to enter in Venezuela and to do in Venezuela what the USA has done in the Dominican Republic, in Cuba, in Panama, in Nicaragua, in Grenada, and in Mexico, and in other countries that the United States has intervened.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, Isaac, I didn't mean to cut you off. We have less than a minute left. I want to swing back to Lajos really quick. Lajos, the first quote that I gave you, the U.S. Secretary of State's quote, was that the U.S. will not stand by idly as Russia exacerbates tensions. I want to know what that means to you. Is this? Are we seeing the precipice? Where are we right now? When it comes
very quickly, it could be a threat that the United States do intend to intervene militarily. And let us remember John Bolton, a very serious bellicist, warmonger, that he also has threatened Russia that the U.S. is not going to allow foreign forces to intervene in the Western Hemisphere. The interesting thing is that China, that is also a friend of Venezuela, answered to what Bolton said, saying, well, that America, that is Latin America, is not the property of anybody, it's not the backyard of anybody, and that China is free to have relations with any country in the region, and that is true for Russia. So my opinion is that Russia is not going to allow its ally and friend, Venezuela, to be overrun by the United States, as they did in Iraq in 2003, as they tried in Syria in 2011, as they did against Libya in 2011. So even if it's just a military technical visit, they say
Isaac,
perhaps to... yeah.
Okay, Lars, let me swing over to Isaac. I have less than a minute left. Isaac, you wanted to get a last thought in. Go ahead, really quick. Less than 1 minute, please.
Well, Russia is trying to say to the United States that Russia and China can stop an intervention in Venezuela. And I think that the United States is very afraid of doing a military intervention because Brazil doesn't like that. Brazil is a very good friend of China. Prince Charles is now in Cuba trying to make a deal with Cuba. So the European Union is also not happy for an invasion. And I think that the presence of the Russian groups in Venezuela is like an alert to the United States. Please don't enter in this country because things can escalate furthermore.
Caballeros, gracias. Both of you, Lajos Sazdi out of San Juan and Isaac Bijou out of London. Thank you both dearly. And viewers, that's a wrap.
Happy New Persian New Year.
Gracias. Thank you so much. And viewers, that's it for this segment of your Press TV's News Review. Thanks for joining us, and bye-bye.